In the small town of Blackwood, Oregon, there was a house that no one talked about. It stood at the end of Raven Hill Road, surrounded by dead trees and broken fences. No birds ever sat on its roof. No dogs ever went near it. Even the wind seemed to avoid it. People said the house was empty, but some said the house was breathing. Ethan Carter did not believe in ghosts. He was a 32-year-old crime journalist from Chicago. His job was to investigate urban legends and expose fake horror stories. When his editor sent him an email titled "The Breathing House of Blackwood," Ethan laughed, but then he saw the attachments. 3 people had gone missing in the last 5 years. All of them were last seen walking toward that house, and none of them were ever found. So Ethan packed his bags and drove to Blackwood. Blackwood was quiet, too quiet. At a small diner, Ethan asked an old waitress, "Can you tell me about Raven Hill Road?" Her face turned pale. She slowly said, "You shouldn't go there." Ethan smiled. "That's what everyone says." She leaned closer and whispered, "The house doesn't kill you. It keeps you." At sunset, Ethan stood in front of it. The house was huge, wooden and black, with broken windows that looked like empty eyes. The front door was slightly open. And then he heard it, a deep, slow sound. In, out, like breathing. The walls were breathing. The air inside was cold and wet. The floorboards creaked like bones. His flashlight moved across. Old furniture, peeling wallpaper, dark stains on the floor. Then he saw something strange. Family photos on the wall, but in every photo, the faces were scratched out. Suddenly, he heard a child's voice. "Daddy." Ethan turned fast. No one was there. Then again, "Why did you leave us here?" The voice came from inside the walls. At the end of the hallway, there was a red door. It was shaking, like something was hitting it from the inside. On the door, written with nails, "Do not feed the house." Ethan found an old tape recorder on the floor. He pressed play. A man's voice said, "If you're hearing this, it means I'm already part of the house. The house is not alive. It is made of people." Then screaming. Then silence. The walls began to move. Not shake, move, like skin. Ethan touched them. They were warm. And then, a hand pushed out from the wall, screaming. The house was built in 1921 by a doctor named Dr. Harold Vane. He believed that human fear could make buildings alive, so he began experimenting. He locked people inside. He never let them leave, and slowly, the house absorbed them. Ethan ran, but the hallway was longer. The door was gone. The windows were gone. The house whispered, "You came to expose me. Now you will complete me." Faces appeared in the walls, hundreds, thousands, all screaming without sound. One face looked familiar. It was Ethan's own face. Ethan turned on his camera and spoke. "If anyone finds this, the house is not haunted. The house is hungry." The floor opened, the walls closed, and the house inhaled. A new journalist arrived in Blackwood. Her email subject, "The Breathing House of Blackwood," and the house was still breathing. The next morning, Jessica Lane, a young urban explorer, drove into Blackwood. She had heard about the infamous house online, The Breathing House of Blackwood, trending on forums, Reddit threads, and horror channels. "Another ghost story," she muttered, adjusting her camera. But something about the town felt wrong. The streets were silent, as if the town itself was holding its breath. A man in a dark coat appeared at the edge of the road. "Don't go there," he said. Jessica laughed nervously. "I've read every story. I know what I'm doing." The man's face twitched. He whispered, "The house doesn't just trap you, it becomes you." She shivered, but kept walking. She arrived at Raven Hill Road at sunset. The house loomed ahead, larger than she imagined, black as a void, surrounded by leafless trees. The air smelled of wet earth and decay. Jessica filmed as she approached. "Hey everyone, we're about to see the scary house that apparently breathes." As she spoke, the walls shifted slightly. The camera captured a dark shadow moving behind a window. She froze. "Hello," answer. But then, a whisper, soft, almost like wind. "Welcome, Jessica." She stepped inside. The house was exactly as Ethan described. The walls were warm and pulsing, family photos with faces scratched out, floorboards that creaked like old bones. Jessica's flashlight flickered. Suddenly, a cold hand grabbed her shoulder. She spun around. No one was there. Then the walls moved again. It wasn't the wind. It was breathing. In, out, in, out. She felt the house press against her, like it wanted her inside its walls. She found the red door, nails spelled, "Feed me or be fed." Jessica's camera recorded every step. She opened the door and went down. The basement was dark and endless, like it had no ceiling. Then she saw something horrifying. Hundreds of faces embedded in the walls, all screaming silently. Some faces looked twisted, others terrified. A voice whispered, "They stayed too long. Now they are part of me." Jessica ran, but the basement stretched further, the walls closing in. On the basement floor, she found an old journal, covered in dust. It belonged to Dr. Harold Vane, the house's creator. "Fear is food, pain is fuel. Every soul trapped here adds to the pulse. The house is alive, and it grows with each victim. I am its architect, but it will outlive me." She realized the house was sentient. It was feeding on fear to grow stronger. And then she saw a note, written in a newer hand. "The next one will be mine." Jessica's blood ran cold. The walls started moving faster. Shadows emerged from the walls. They were people who had vanished before, including Ethan, his face pale and twisted in terror. They whispered, "Join us." Jessica tried to run. The stairs disappeared. The walls pressed in. The house was alive, hungry for her fear. Jessica stumbled into a small room with a single mirror. Her reflection wasn't hers. It was someone else, trapped behind the glass, screaming silently. She touched it. Her hand vanished into the mirror. A voice hissed, "The house takes what is offered and offers what it takes." The mirror showed her the future. She would become part of the house. She would watch others die forever. She ran, but every door led to the mirror room again. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time didn't exist inside the house. Jessica's flashlight flickered, revealing messages carved in blood. "You are next. The house is patient. All souls belong here." She screamed, banging on walls, doors, windows. Nothing worked. The house ignored her fear. It fed on it.